This is a Frank podcast.
This Warriors Life Podcast 2025, episode 28, brought to you by King's Container Crew. For all your container packing and unpacking solutions, go to kingskontainercrew.com. And what tab do you go to, Brad, if you want to get a job with those guys?
Work with us tab, isn't it? The work with us tab. Yeah. I've been listening.
I knew you were ready. I knew you were ready for me to throw.
I only just switched on in time then. Yeah. Ears pricked up at the perfect time.
Thanks to King's Container Crew, our wonderful, wonderful sponsors, as well as New Zealand TAB and Frank Podcasts. Brad, we're tuning in the wake of back in the winner's circle, 9th win of the year. An exciting win, but a bittersweet win. Mitch Barnett ruled out for the year with an ACL injury. We'll chat about the ramifications of that injury for the season ahead. Fonz is just about to join us. He was at the game on Sunday. We'll see what he thought of the live experience at the Cavernous Accor Stadium before he comes in and tell us that we were wrong to love that game, Brad. I'd just like to say it was probably the most enjoyable watch I've had this season. What do you think?
Yeah, same. It was a bit more freewheeling, wasn't it? Not so structured, messy. At least I'd rather watch a close game at 30-plus points than 10 points. It's far more entertaining. Yeah, if we're going to get put through misery of close finishes, at least get a couple of tries in the process.
It felt like a wacky early 2000s game.
It was odd.
The show.
Yeah, it was odd. There's that notification again. But yeah, I didn't dislike watching it. I thought it was quite an enjoyable watch.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously you want them to go on with the job at 30-12 up, and you'd rather not, have to shit yourself for the last 20 minutes. But geez, Latrell Mitchell's just unstoppable when he's in that mood, and I thought they did pretty well to close it out in the end because they had plenty of time on a couple of occasions to level it up. So yeah, great win, still second equal on the ladder, 9 wins, equaled our win tally from last year, and things are pretty rosy aside from the injury to our co-captain. Let's just add Fonzie to the stage.
We beam him in.
Have we got you, Fonz?
G'day, boys. How are we?
Hello,
good, Arthur. Mate. How are you?
Yeah, really good, really good. Just so everyone out there knows, I was here bang on 3:30. They just leave me sitting there for a couple of minutes.
I don't know how it works
we'll get them warmed up
in show business, but most podcast co-hosts turn up more than like 8 seconds before you go live. That's just me though. I'm a bit of a stickler for time.
This is a pretty slick
thanks to everyone who's joining us live. A couple of people jump in the comments. Rizzy's always here. Yeah, should be an interesting teamless Tuesday tonight. Sure will be. Fonz, let's throw to you first of all, bro. You were at the game. Sum it up. What was the experience like, and thoughts on the game in general?
Yeah, it's a bit of a. I was there with wife and kids, and we rolled in there. We sat sort of just towards the back of the Warriors supporters bay. So that was cool being around that group, but I was sort of hanging back a bit, while some of the others were down the front jumping around a bit more and sort of helping look after the kids. But yeah, so the whole atmosphere at that stadium is just flat, mate. So the Warriors fans are awesome. The Bunnies fans are pretty awesome as well. Like I've got to say, they're no drama, plenty of singing coming out of the borough and stuff. But that stadium is just so big, it just all gets lost, So my oldest was saying to me, how come it's so quiet here? Because he's comparing it to Leichhardt, where there's the same crowd in Leichhardt or something. So there's that. And I remember texting you in that first half, Will, I think, saying, man, it's flat as a pancake here. And I meant the game as well as the atmosphere, but I think the atmosphere was affecting how I was watching the game because I felt like the game lacked intensity as well. But when I got home and watched a replay, it actually was better on replay on TV than it felt at the game. So at the game, I felt like it was a bit low intensity touch footy type of game, but it wasn't actually, even though it was 36-30, it wasn't actually that lacking in intensity when I got home and watched it. Was that your sense watching it live?
Yeah, I was surprised to hear, like, obviously the atmosphere was the main thing for you, but watching that first half, like I thought, shit, that was, pretty hectic, pretty intense, and we've got a game on our hands. I was actually loving the first half. Second half was even more definitely a helter-skelter game, but saying to Brad, probably the most enjoyable watch I've had all season, from a league watching point of view. And it's a shame. 16,000 there when you're in an 80,000 seat stadium doesn't count for quite as much as like up. But and we got the win, so obviously finished off pretty well for you, Fonz.
Yeah, and the bloody Rabbits put the opposition supporters, the opposition supporters bay when you book your tickets and you're the opposition fan, in the corner where the sun is in your eyes at the worst possible angle for the longest possible time.
You in Dallin's corner there in the first half.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, you in Luke Metcalf's goal kicking side of the ground. Jeez, he had some sun in his eyes during that first half.
But in the corner, and they've got this big screen. I don't even know what the screen's doing. That basically impedes the view from like half of the opposition supporters bay. It's like 80,000 seat stadium, man. Like, there's
you're in a heated view section.
Yeah, and they put us all here, and it was one of the most full bays in the whole stadium as well, because there's heaps of Warriors fans there. So before I get into the game itself, shout out to Richie Morgan, who runs Warrior Nation, because that's come along in leaps and bounds. The work he's done to get the Aussie-based fans organised, and him banging the drum and all the rest of it. It's really good. It's cool. Like, we're unique in the NRL, where our away crowd is the noisiest, I reckon, of any away crowd in the NRL. It's really good, and he's done a great job, man.
Good on you, Richie. I saw you sent me a video, Fonz. Your young bloke got to have a wee bang on the drum as well.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, Richie's not just putting a Facebook post up and telling everyone where they're going to be and all that, and then organising with the pub to have a few hundred Warriors fans turn up a couple of hours early. He's also sitting there, and all these kids want to hit his drum, so he's sitting there patiently letting all these kids, including my 4-year-old, bang the drum and start a Warriors chant. And like, the dude must be like, he's got the patience of a saint. I would have told him all to get effed, pretty early on in that piece. But he's sitting there just letting it all run through with a smile on his face. He's a good bloke, man. Anyway,
yeah, good shit.
So,
he's a big unit as well. I was surprised meeting him at Magic Round. I wasn't prepared for him to be such a big, imposing guy. It kind of threw me a bit. But it's on you, Richie. It was good to meet him, and he fucking loves it. A couple of questions or comments to get to, boys, before we get Fonz's take on the game. Jeremy Newsom-Brown, good friend of the show. Need to rip his brother Callum for organising golf instead of going to the Warriors game with you. What are you doing, Callum?
He's a corporate high flyer, old Cal, son. I'm not surprised. Probably doing some networking or something there, Jeremy, I reckon.
And got a question for you, Brad. Riz has said, what time should Fonz be ready to go for the pod? We'll need that in New Zealand and Australian Eastern time. Thanks.
Shit. I only just got myself here today. So I can't be casting too many stones. Yeah, I'm not the best.
Do I have to start? Do I have to start 2 hours before you boys, though, to sync up?
Oh god, we're getting some time out of that one. What else was going on? What were you saying?
Yeah, so the game. Well, do you want to talk about Barney first, or do you want to?
Yeah,
because I'm devastated, man. I'm just devastated by that.
Yeah, it's a tough blow. It did look a little ugly when they slowed it down, but those ACLs, they can be pretty innocuous looking sometimes, and your season's done just like that.
It's out of it, because they seem to be able to be mobile on them still. You can walk around on it, and they just obviously can't. It must be such an out of it thing to heal, like, because it doesn't. They just limp. It's not as if they have to be put in a cart and dragged off the field, do they? They sort of wander off.
But
that niggly pain just doesn't go away, obviously, for months.
Well, what happened was like we were sitting behind where that happened, like sort of off to the side and behind. And so we saw him fall badly. You knew straight away it wasn't a great one. But then, and he was struggling to get up. But then the trainers had him up and players sort of moved on. And he sort of said to them, yeah, piss off, I'm going to walk this off.
Yeah.
And he actually walked to behind the in goal. And then the camera went away from him. So I don't think you saw it on TV when I watched the replay. But then he fell down like a sack of spuds.
Yeah, behind the dead ball, yeah.
Behind the dead ball line, yeah. And the trainers had to come back and help him get off the field.
He gave it a little bounce, didn't he, in the in goal, and then he just dropped. Yeah.
Dropped.
That's a pain in the ass, isn't it? Jesus, that's a pain in the ass. Wouldn't have
If
minded
I
having
can
him
just,
for the rest of the year.
If I can give you a little personal anecdote, I did my ACL at footy training a few years ago and stood in a sprinkler divot. Thought my leg was going to fall off, and I was like, oh no, I think I'm all right. Sort of walked it off and then did the next drill and it collapsed under me. But then again, walked around and I was like, oh, it's not too bad. Went undiagnosed for a year, and then turned out it was a ruptured ACL. So they are a funny little thing. Yeah. But obviously just that stability, like there's no way you could stand up to NRL week to week, especially the workload that he does. So
when you roll an ankle and how long it takes an ankle to actually get tight in there again, it feels loose for quite a while. Must be that. But on your knee joint, that would be pretty haggard.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a shame.
Yeah. Poor old Barney. But first impressions, Fonz. I mean, does that sort of ruin any chances they had of doing something this year, or can they sort of plug a gap and carry on? What are the ramifications of Barnett being out for the year?
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, I've been wrong about this team all year. So I just want to be clear about that. Like I've underestimated them all year. Preseason underestimated them. Thought they'd lose games. They've won. Thought they'd get done 13 plus against Canberra, and they got within 6 without Barney, right, and without Fish. So, so I've consistently underestimated this team, but I just can't see how you can replace what Barney's doing for us. And I think we still can make the 8, but I don't think we can really. I mean, I don't know that we could go toe-to-toe with the best couple of teams in the comp anyway when push comes to shove, but I just can't see how we can do that without Barney. Now, some people will say, well, the young boys stepped up, and the young boys can step up. And I think that's true. Like you can get a bit more out of Mulga, Tom Arles back in cup. You can try and squeeze some more minutes out of, Ford and Fish and try and do it that way. But the young guys, they're just not yet going to be able to consistently deliver what Barney delivers, So I feel like it is a massive blow, but I never thought we were going to win the comp anyway. I just want to see this year get us into the finals, and then we set up for next year. My real question is he going to play next year? Because an ACL is a long injury, and I'm not at all convinced he's going to go around next year. So that's my bigger worry. I don't know if you got any thoughts on that.
It's usually 9 months to a year, I guess, depending on the seriousness. So yeah, I mean, there's no guarantees he's going to be ready to go for the start of next year at least, which is pretty concerning. How are you seeing them replace that spot in the 17? My initial thought was Newcorday to a middle role and Laban into the 17, but or is it more Bunty straight back in, or a Tannerstow Smith, something like that?
Yeah, I'm thinking leaning towards Webby will probably go the Bunty route. He'd done it a couple of weeks ago when they were thin. He got chucked right at the front. Wouldn't be my preference, but that's what I'm semi-expecting. Preference would be probably what you first mentioned. I'd like to see Stowers Smith get a couple of weeks. Like Fonzie was saying, though, we're probably going to have to rotate. If Barnett's out, they're probably going to have to rotate them a little bit. Like you're seeing Lecker dip in form after a few games of footy in a row. You could almost see him getting puffed. Yeah. And it's going to happen to these young boys. So the next few weeks, who knows? It might be just some sort of rotation to try and keep everyone fresh. Next man up, they all play great. They're all great defenders. We're going to miss a lot of that passion from Mitch. But, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think Bunty gets first bite, though.
How would you do it, Will? I was going to ask you.
Yeah, I'd say I'd probably bring Laban back into the 17 and Nucore as your other starting prop. I mean, I think he's been fantastic in either role. And it kind of started with him getting moved to prop that week. And I think, if we can keep that going, maybe he's the only one sort of capable of providing that same sort of impact, although, obviously maybe not the work rate. I'd also maybe look at ditching that Tamati Martin bench spot and having a 4 forward bench just to try and, alleviate that load, because it worked really well earlier in the season. Obviously, it counts on Wade Egan playing 80 minutes every week, and if he doesn't, then you got to plug a gap. But I don't know. That's maybe something I'd look at.
Gee, Healy had a great game in the weekend, didn't he? He must be getting real close again. Healy in the weekend. He had a ripper. So that first option of yours, would you bring Lecker in to start again, shifting Murata forward?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. Not necessarily to play the full 80. Like if Laban's in the 17, you can give him some more minutes. So pretty limited minutes that he's had lately. I don't know. What way would you go, Fonz? What way do you see?
What's your 2 cents, Fonz?
I'm probably with you, Will. I think that's probably what I'd do. I mean, the things with Barney we're going to miss, it's not like damaging carries. We got other people who can do carries and make you 10 meters a hit up type thing. It's going to be line speed, that quick play the ball when you need one on the fourth, so Metcalf can get a good kick away, or that quick play the ball in good balls so that we can run an attacking shape, off good speed. Like it's that kind of thing that we're like. So can Jacko Ford do those things? Probably not. Can the young kids do that? Probably not. They don't really have the composure awareness around some of that stuff. Can Fish do it a little bit? Yep. But suddenly the opposition is going to be targeting Fish as our one kind of alpha prop, right? So they're going to start really going after him. So he's going to cop it. So I think we probably are in that place of move Nucore to prop and think about whether we want to run 4 forwards on the bench going forward, so that we can sort of plug the gap with whatever bits and pieces we need.
I don't know if that was an early sign of it or of what's to come, but Barnett goes off with, I think it was the 21st minute. Fisher Harris ends up making 53 tackles.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know if
what does he usually do in a game?
Like early to mid 30s, I guess, high 30s sometimes. But 53 tackles is a massive workload for a prop. Sort of affected his carries as well, and obviously, we're losing a player out of the rotation, so that's that's not going to be the same every week. But it's a good point, and it makes you a bit worried if something was to happen to Fish. I think they'd be cooked.
Oh man,
we've seen him miss 4 or 5 games with a pec injury. We could win without him, and we can win without Barnett, but can we win without both? The one time that we tried, we lost to the Raiders, who are obviously one of the benchmarks this year. But without either of them, there would be a pretty terrifying prospect with a sort of Ford Bunty starting combination.
I can see Hammer from Ruin Hammers in the chat too. G'day, mate. How are you?
Good to see you, mate.
Had a good yarn to them at the game, albeit while chasing kids around and this sort of thing. But we were saying, I think, early in the game that Fish looked a bit gassed early, and then he went on to make 53 tackles. So it shows what I know when I thought that. The other one was, we haven't talked about yet, is Rocco Berry's injury. So has anyone got an update on that? Because I'll tell you, live at the game, watching from like the back and to the side, he honestly glues up that right edge. He glues up that right edge in defense. He's so
pretty
important.
Good defensively.
Yeah.
Speaking of gluing up, what about how the trainer, did they not take any tape over to Sydney? They just dumped a tub of Vaseline on his head to.
Did he throw it on from 15 meters away? Just lobbed it at his head, and he went to header it and just bump for. Yeah, geez, they slammed it on there. How was he? That was right after, on the end of Jacko Ford's assist, wasn't it? A little dribbling goal. How was that?
In the trophy.
He's got some vision, that kid.
Actually, yeah, we'll talk about Jacko in a minute because, I mean, part of the Barney replacement, there's a comment from Joseph Payne in here. Ford has to become Barnett. Well, I'll tell you what, Ford has gone some way to becoming the Barnett. He's not the Barnett, but he has improved
He's
out of
a beast.
sight this year. But
But
back to Rocco.
and he's not. Yeah.
Have we got an injury update on
Everyone's
Rocco? Do we know?
I haven't heard anything. We might get a bit more from the Warriors official team list release, or if Rocco's indeed playing. But it's just another concerning. For the second game, it was barely played, and then in 2 games in a row, he's failed to finish.
Did you see him in the post-game
really
interview?
well.
There was a post-game interview with him, and they were interviewing him, and he was saying, he literally said at the interview, and he said, now my hamstring's gone again. So it's a hamstring, definitely a hamstring injury. The poor bastard was pretty broke up about it, knowing that he's probably got another couple of weeks on the sideline again. Yeah, he was awful.
Just on obviously, it kind of looked like Ali Lavish had been dropped last week. He didn't play in the New South Wales Cup, so I'm not sure if it was, whether Rocco comes in last week or not. Obviously Ali didn't play that well against Canberra, and we assumed he'd been kind of demoted. But yeah, interesting to see what they see as the centre pecking order still. But not good news for Rocco. We're already saying, how many injuries can we afford? Good game though. Good game from on the weekend.
It was a good game while he was out there. It really was. Done a little step run for old time's sake. You see that one? He was in the open space and he just starts sidestepping people's shadows all of a sudden. Yeah, geez, he doesn't know how to run in a straight line sometimes, the kid, but he's a tough bastard on D. Those kick chases, they are worth their weight in gold the way he gets down there. Sorry, Fonz.
I was going to say a couple of other things from the game. I thought Souths are a bit better than I thought in that they hold together pretty well. Like they're pretty connected in defence and they're sort of reasonably fluid in attack. There's not a lot of names in that team, but they're a good workman-like team. So I probably underrated them a bit last week, calling them shit. I'd probably call them, slightly shit. But really, if we're watching this game, we kept pulling away. There was a point where we're 18 ahead, I think, and it looked all over. And Latrell would just do something. He would just do something. He'd throw a pass, make a couple of runs. He is genuinely like one of those players who, like on the field, he was the player, including anyone on our team, who just stood out as a class above. So he was single-handedly keeping South in that game and bringing them back whenever we sort of looked like we were going to pull away. On the other hand, I don't think I feel like if we play that game another 5 times, we win by more the other 5 times. You know what I mean? Like I felt like it was a game where we were always looking to pull away and then we'd sort of drop intensity. Latrell would do something arsey. They get momentum and somehow they'd score a try, intercepts and these kinds of things. And I was just sort of looking at it going, close game, 36-30, but there's a gap between the two teams. We're a better team than them by far.
They definitely jagged a dozen points in that game, I reckon, like from that intercept.
Some of those things that Latrell was doing, I mean, you can't just do that all the time. That first pass he threw for Johnson's try was just unbelievable. Best in the game at it. That threw a forward pass for another one. But, players like that get in the mood and they're pretty hard to stop. That solo try, I thought they did pretty well in the end to sort of just keep their cool and close it out.
Not let them come over top of them. It was good that we got that last late try to get that back. What was the final try for us? What happened there again?
Was that Rogers' second from Lecker grabbed the Metcalf bomb and
yes.
Chanel
that was gave me back a comfortable feeling, that try. I was like, oh shit. Phew. I think that's the breathing space. We can handle that breathing space.
Yeah, that reminds me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, 2 things. One, I saw Dale's been getting a bit of shit post-game about his defence. I'll tell you, like, again, being live, you see it. Teams are running their absolute strike weapons at Metcalf, right? And that's causing our right side centre to hold and want to bite in, and then Dal ends up with a 2-on-1. It's not Dal. Like, I'm not saying Dal's perfect. I'm just saying that is what's happening. Teams are running their strike at Metcalf. So the Komatangi try was all about running at Metcalf. The Latrell one, where he threw the ball to Johnson.
Well, there's nothing you could do there.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Dal was a little bit infield, but he was infield because it looked like Metcalf wasn't going to take his man, and Rocco was, was it Rocco then? I think it still was holding, and so Dal had to come in, so he had the option of deciding which man to go for. You know what I mean? And then a beautiful pass beat him on the outside. So let's not get too hard up on going up the Dal. He's in a tough spot there because opposition aren't going at Metcalf. That's what they're doing.
Just on Dallin's attack, though, Fonz, you said that he had, he had almost identical meters this week as last, but he was actually peppered by the South kickers. So
he was, yeah.
A little theory of yours that I think he's maybe just, not quite been able to produce what he usually does from a ball carrying point of view. Whether he's still a little bit underdone, or you think this far back into it, he should be raring to go. But yeah, just not having the same impact. Certainly not getting the same opportunities. It was a great try to open the scoring. Good grab on the high ball, but it
doesn't even seem to be swinging his way on attack.
What do you run? What do you run?
73 meters, wasn't it?
12 runs for 88 meters was the initial stats.
And last week was probably 7 runs for something.
I think it was similar, like 10 or 11 for 80, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So nothing wrong with the per carry meters. Just doing a lot less than we're probably used to.
What's Rog doing out the other side?
Oh, and saying that, Roger's just an absolute workhorse. 21 runs for 168 meters on the weekend. Not to mention Chance, a colossal 339 meters from 28. He was superhuman.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a fair bit of, I think about 50 people probably commented Chance deserved a 9 or 9.5 in the Kings Container Crew player ratings. Probably right. 9 would have been fair because that was enormous from him. And yeah. Gave him an 8.5, but unbelievable from Chance.
Do you want to explain yourself? Do you want to explain your 8.5? Because
where would a 9 come from? What would he have done to do a 9.5?
Well, there was 2 errors in there. 2 errors in there, boys. And I mean, he scored a try. Yeah. No assists. He was an absolute workhorse and great at the back. But I mean, you don't just throw 9s out every day. That's like 3 or 4 in a season.
What if someone, plays something incredible? You've got no room to.
You sound like those jerks in the comments.
No, because
you can take it on this weekend.
Because you adopt the old rugby league week player rating type model, don't you? Is that roughly where your inspiration came from? And that was very hard to get a 9. Like you almost never.
Oh yeah.
You're right.
9 was and
that was a club, wasn't
probably
it? The 9 club, or was it the 10 club?
What 10, but not many 9s got dished out. I'm probably more generous and more harsh the other way than the old rugby league week model, and they didn't have 0.5s either. So, could have easily got a 9 if I was, did it on if I rated that game.
They didn't have 0.5s either. I've got 0.5.
Well, that's more for my benefit, really. If I rate that game 10 times, he probably gets 9 5 times and 8.5 5 times.
Yeah,
so.
fair enough. 8.5s, we know reading it as long as we have now, we know that's a monster score in terms of
that's good.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm saying he had a shocker. Any other thoughts, boys? We're just about on Teamless Tuesday. Give us your rundown on Metcalf, Fonz. We've been getting a little bit of stick. Well, I guess it was me, but they threw all of us in with that with that equation. Another mixed bag. 2 great kicks at each end of the game for tries. Obviously the runaway, then the intercept pass. I mean, I thought it was overall good, which is 6.5 does suggest.
Another one,
still
bomb out on the full. That was a bit of a
kicked out on the full. I mean, yeah.
So, there was a couple of errors amongst his great, like that solo try was awesome, but he wasn't perfection.
You wouldn't think he made any errors with the showboating. He likes to do though. Jeez, he loves a celebration.
He does a celebrate. Rick James.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Turner on Twitter it might be one of the people you're talking about who sort of said he reckons we're harsh on him. And he made some good points, right? So, could anyone else in that team do that runaway try? The way he can boost, quickly off the mark to create a 3-on-2, that kind of thing. This is all true. But defensively, he's a spot, right? Just like all halves are. And he still has errors in his game. And I'm still not seeing him create repeatable, structured play in attack in good ball.
Yeah.
That is going to carry us through. And so he has some rare skills. He's a unique, rare player, right? But I still am not seeing the complete package from him. And so I think Will's pretty much right on his ratings for Metcalf, is my take.
Oh, Fonz. Praise from Caesar there. Thanks, Fonz. Apparently, saying they're just FIFA celebrations. Maybe I'm just too old and decrepit to recognise what.
We out of the loop. Damn it.
Shit. Pack her up, boys. We're
gone.
We're officially old. Yeah.
Now we've got a bloody team list to unpack here, boys. So guess we better bring it up. We've got a couple of other
bring
things
it up
that
in
we
the
haven't got
corner
to
there.
yet.
We'll have a sniff.
Yeah, righto. Okay, here we go. We're rolling. I'll run you through it. Chance to go close there at the back. Dallin Martinis, Lesniak, and Roger Tuivasa Shig on the wings. Adam Pompey, Kurt Capewell back in the centres with no Rocco Berry. Shane Harris, David, and Luke Metcalf in the halves. James Fisher-Harris, Wade Egan, and Jackson Ford takes Mitch Barnett spot at prop. Leka Halasima, Marata Nukore in the second row. So another start for Leka with Capewell back in the back line. Aaron Clark at lock, an interchange of Tamari Martin, Jacob Laban back into the 17, Dimitri Vaimonga, and Tanisdale Smith in. So, there we go. The reserves, fair bit interested. Tom Ale, Sam Healy, Tanner Boyd, Ali Leatawa, if he potentially could be a late inclusion, sending Capewell back to the pack, and Tane Tuapiki, who is back doing his thing in New South Wales Cup, proving he's too good for that grade, but not quite good enough to command a spot in the Warriors team. What do you think about the way they've plugged the Barnett gap, first of all, I guess, boys?
Yeah, I would have preferred Murata, to be honest, at the moment. I think I would have preferred it that way around. And they're still running the Tamari Martin on the bench.
The Capewell to the centres thing kind of took that out of their hands a little bit, maybe, with Murata not being able to.
That's crazy how not keen they are on Moala Graham Telfer, isn't it?
Yeah, or there's a few options there, not just Moala too. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where it starts, isn't it? Yeah, well, if you were going to play Nukore at prop, then you had to have Capewell on the edge, back row. So this is kind of a bit of a slap in the face to Ali Leatawa again, right? Because not only has a centre gone down in Berry, but a prop's gone down where we could really use an edge back rower in Nukore to play prop. But instead of that, he's put an edge back rower at centre, and then he's basically.
This is assuming that he's fit, which he might not quite be.
Yeah, that's it. It's highly likely he's been injured and he's just sitting on the skirts just in case he can play. Like Will said, swap
keeping him
back into the second row.
It's possible, but normally players who are dropped, they tell us they're injured, if you know what I mean. Here, they told us he's dropped. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be weird.
Oh, did they tell us
not quite in so many words, and he didn't play New South Wales Cup, which kind of made me think he wasn't quite fit. It was unusual, though. Usually that they would explicitly say he's injured if he was, but
no, Webby said he needs to go to Cup and learn some things.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, 100%.
Ringing the bell now. You've said that. Yeah.
Okay.
So even with the injury, they've gone, no, you're staying in cup. I mean, it could change by game day, but instead they've gone, no, the way we're going to solve this problem is to bring Tanner Smith up and Laban up. And yeah, and there's a comment there from Mo A saying Cape Water Centre is not sustainable for the rest of the season. I think that's right. I think Webby might be just wanting, Ali to do that couple of weeks in Cup and show him something, to bring him up. But, or maybe Berry's only a week away. Maybe it's just a 1 week injury for Berry. We don't know that. So that could also solve it. But it's not how I thought he'd do it, and it's not what I would have done. But one thing Webby's proved this year is that he's a bloody good coach. So
And Jackson Ford deserves a start. He's been outstanding. I mean, he's probably played better when he has been off the bench. So hopefully he can still maintain that kind of impact and work rate. But on form, he deserves to be the next drop starting prop. So a few comments there about Bunty being down the pecking order. He's not in the 23. You kind of assume that is he injured? What's going on with Bunty? With Tanner Smith getting his second NRL appearance, and Laban obviously coming in for his second row cover. But a few young boys in there, fellas. A bench of Laban, Vaimaunga, and Stow Smith, and you've already got Halasima starting and maybe playing 80. Big load for those Tyros.
It's such a shame. It looks like. That was the first game this year we had our full strength team on the paddock, and it lasted 1 week, and now we've lost our co-captain.
And now we're in disarray. Barney
the wheels have come off. Oh shit! It's a shame, but the next man up mentality they've proved to us time after time lately that they're ready. It's just how long can they do it for? When will they run out of puff? I don't mind the young fellas there. I think Laban's older than he's sort of, seems a bit more mature than his actual age mates show. You know what I mean? What's that called? There's a saying for that. Wiser beyond his years or something. He seems quite switched on.
Sounds good. And he's been around the first grade traps. Like I think he debuted, earlier than those other guys. He's played a lot of cup. So ready for some more minutes. Playing the Sharks, boys. Will we run through their team quickly?
Should be.
Well, Kennedy, Siona Katoa, is he back? Is that Katoa back? Yes, it is. He's been out for some time. Jesse Ramian, KL Iro, and Mawene Hiroti on the wing with Ronaldo still out. Big Weeze will be happy about that. He hates Ronaldo. And Braden Trindle and Nico Hines in the halves. Adam Fanua Blake, big storyline there. First game against the Warriors since he left us. Blake Brayley, Oregon Kalfusi, Britton Nakota, Teague Wilden, Cameron McInnes in the back row. Interchange of Daniel Atkinson, Jesse Colquhoun. I don't know if I've seen that name written down, but I haven't heard them call him yet. Talakai and Braden Hammond Uwali on the bench. So a pretty strong Sharks squad. If I'm not mistaken, are they coming off an absolute pantsing from the Roosters? Or did the Sharks play last weekend? I think they might have had the bye.
I can't remember what they
with me. Yes, they're coming off the bye. So they were looking really good. 5 wins from 6. Beat Melbourne, beat Manly comfortably at Manly, then beat Melbourne at home. Then came out and got absolutely dicked by an Origin hit Roosters team when they didn't have any representative absentees. So still not quite convinced about the Sharks. What are they, 6 on the ladder maybe? We've had some great success at Shark Park the last couple of years. That 20-point comeback in 2023, unforgettable. Sean Johnson with a match-winning penalty goal, and then last year SJ again. Another comeback, the greatest regular season retirement of all time, putting that one on dime for Dallin to get a hat trick on the buzzer. So it's been a happy hunting ground recently. What do you rate our chances, boys? I've quite enjoyed Fonz's odds prediction, so I'll bring up the odds and you guys can pontificate over what you think the odds should be head to head for this one.
What do you think the Sharks are paying, Fonz?
Oh, I'd have the Sharks at $1.65, $1.70.
I've almost had them both around $1.90, like almost even. Stevens.
This is why you guys are on a 2-bit Warriors podcast rather than setting the odds for the New Zealand TAB. The Sharks are $1.48 at home. Warriors $2.65. Yeah, bit of value in the Warriors. 6.5 point start.
Yeah, I think that's way too long for the Warriors. Way too long. I mean, we do know how to win games, you know.
I'm far more optimistic than that.
Yeah, so let's have a look at it.
The Barnett injury and the home ground factor, I'm sure, has swayed that. See if those odds shift during the week. But yeah, I'm not too surprised. I would have been surprised to see them any longer than sort of $1.55 to open. So yeah, see how we go.
I'm going to rob them blind this weekend.
I mean, the danger is, you know, like a Canberra, that pack can blow us off the park with a weakened pack ourselves. And if that happens, look out. And Richard Edlund, I think, said when you put a comment on there saying the Cape Wells selection is actually more about the Sharks, not necessarily what we're going to do going forward, because we need some size out there, because the Sharks second rowers are big and powerful and you know, in Nakora's case, fast, and there's probably some truth in that. So yeah, I don't know. I like that Sharks backline doesn't scare me too much. It looks good, you know, but Mulitalo's out. I'm not sure their halves are still patchy. I think Hines is coming good. Yeah, so they can get fucked. We'll beat them.
That's right. Yeah, I'm not. I think we can do the Sharks. Not do them. We'll do them in the Warriors way. Nervously, fucking counting down the last 30 seconds, 4 points ahead. Yeah. But I think we can. I think we're better than the Sharks week to week.
Geez, it'd be a great one to win. Obviously, we're in a really handy position now to go 10-3. Then we've got to buy Penrith and Brisbane, two teams, I guess, that have struggled this year, and right in the middle of that, I'm not sure quite how it fits into the Origin schedule, but getting Panthers and Broncos at this time of the year is pretty good. Then another bye, and then you're into the nine game run home. So, yeah, if they can get this, I mean, I think it's, you know, finishing top four's definitely within their grasp. Maybe puts a bit of pressure and allows others to catch up if including the Sharks, who are, you know, top four hopeful. So it's a big swing game, this one. And if we can, put one of our sort of fellow top four contenders back a week and make that gap a bit bigger, that's bloody handy. Excited for this one, boys. Saturday night, Brad. I'm going to save you the embarrassment of trying to work it out.
7:30.
7:30 New Zealand time, and 5:30 Australian Eastern. And for our Western Australian fans, Brad, what time can they
Western Australian, what was it, 5:30? It'll be 3:30 in Western Oz, won't it?
Got it.
Did I get it? Yes, I was guessing. It was either 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, and this one, I was thinking about going out to this one again, but the Sharks, because their stadium's having renovations or whatever's going on there, I think the capacity is only like 12,000 or something ridiculous, and it's very hard to get.
Still get having renovations. They should have got new form building onto it. That you would have had. They would have been 30,000 seated by now. If new form building.
Yeah. Fucking just all H3 tantalised timber, mate. Anything I can make out of tantalised timber, I'll fucking build it. Wet green timber, not a bother. What are they doing? Is it like, because isn't there a hotel sort of on the 20-meter line? Is that the stadium? It's got that weird big tall building right there. Yeah. Is that part of the park?
Going out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're they're building some kind of shopping center and hotels so that when they inevitably get kicked out of the comp, they've got, you know, something to do down there. You know, that's
the land's worth some money.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Just land bank in there at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Cronulla. I'm not going to lie.
It's coming across that way. Where's this stem from, Fonz? Where's the hatred for Cronulla come from?
Oh, I don't know. I think
hatred, dislike.
They've screwed us over on recruitment a few times. I didn't like them under the Flanagan era. I just thought they were a bit of a dog team. They mongrels sort of
Paul
thing.
Gallen.
And Paul Gallen, a bit of that. I don't know. Their fans on Twitter are the most painful fans pretty much in the comp.
Are they?
I would say, just snarky. Like, if like they'll just go and try and find someone who's a Warriors, like, because I don't talk shit on Twitter. Like, I'm pretty just analytical, keep it pretty simple. But if we play the Sharks and they beat us, there'll be 10 Sharks fans just adding me saying, you lost the game, you know what I mean? Like, and that doesn't happen when Yeah, that doesn't happen when we lose to like Souths or Penrith or like it's just a Sharks thing. So yeah,
fair enough too. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I've got a couple of stats. Yeah, he's on fire. He's right up there with the old Dally M leader Luke Metcalf. They're duking it out. Who would have thought Metcalf and
How many
Kennedy
points
would
did
be
Metcalf get
1 and 2 in the?
I reckon they would have found a way to get him 7, wouldn't they?
So yeah, I mean, I still can't believe he picked up a vote in that Canberra game. Flat, like, absolutely mind-boggling. Votes have gone private now, so we won't see them week to week. It's after round 12 they go secret. So yeah, but we can only assume that runaway try got Luke Metcalf the bulk of the points on the weekend.
Yeah,
it would be an absolute. They honestly should pack it up. If Chance didn't get 6 votes on the weekend, they honestly should shut the medal down and investigate them for fraud, or some sort of tampering. But yeah, that's probably why you still can't bet on it. You can bet on the Brownlow, but you can't bet on this because of some Coach of the Year kerfuffle the other day. But how could you have a betting market on the Dally medal with the way they dish out the votes?
Jesus, imagine how many options there'd be. Anyone could win. Oh shit.
Before we tune out, boys, I've just got a couple of TAB Punters Lounge Warriors stat chat things for you. The column went up today. Head to the Punters Lounge at tab.co.nz for the full article. But a couple of points of interest here is the win on the weekend was only the 8th time in the Warriors' history that they've conceded 30 points and gone on to win. So good to see them close that out. The record 32 points, and they beat Penrith 48-32 in 2001. I just wanted to highlight that obviously Luke Metcalf's goal kicking has come under the microscope again. Now he shanked a bad one, and then he nails them from the sideline. We obviously saw him win a game from halfway, so he can come up with some clutch kicks. But I'm starting to think, can we carry on with them? We've got quite the quite the base of knowledge to make a judgment. I think he's batting at 64.15% this season, 34 goals from 53 attempts. Worst of any goal kicker in the NRL who has had more than 8 shots at goal. The next worst percentage of kickers who have had more than 10 attempts is Sean Russell at Parramatta. He's at 71%, 15 from 21. We've got Chanel Harris-Davida, who's got a career success rate of 76.83%, and Pompey is just under 73% in the squad, in the team every week. How long do you keep going with Metcalf? Just as another further stat, anyone in the NRL last year that had more than 30 attempts finished the season with at least a 70% success rate. So you can't carry a 64% goal kicker in this day and age in the NRL, especially if you've got other options.
Not if there's better options. The others must be kicking like shit at training. If he keeps getting the tee Sunday.
Poor old Chanel and that miss at Canberra last year. It's just because he's a good goal kicker. I think he's the best option. But you miss one high profile kick that sort of is pretty costly, and then you're tarred with that brush forever.
And I wouldn't mind giving Chanel another task and taking one off Metcalf just to lighten Metcalf's load a little bit. Take a little bit of pressure, not just pouring everything on top of him, his shoulders to.
I reckon Metcalf asked if he could be co-captain now that Barnett's out. He just wants to do everything.
Well, let me ask you this, though. So Like, yeah, in the 15th minute, we get a kick for goal on the right side, halfway between goalpost and sideline, and you'd go, well, I'll probably kick that more often than Metcalf. But 1 minute out, 1 minute to go, kick from 40 out on the sideline. Who do you want taking it, Chanel or Metcalf?
Yeah, I'll give him that one.
Well, that's valid.
But if Chanel was kicking, we wouldn't need that 2 points in the 80th minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Would be 4 ahead.
Yeah, overall percent, like that is just one stat that you can't argue with. Goal kicking percentages. If you're kicking,
he come back. I was dark about that close miss in the weekend, but he did. I was trying to find that thing off of Dumb and Dumber where he turns up on the mini bike. You've completely redeemed yourself. That's all I could think. Metcalf kept tonking them over from all sorts of angles. It's just the ones he misses are so horrifically bad.
It's fair. It's fair.
The Warriors' worst goal kickers of all time, minimum 25%, 25 minimum 25 attempts. Sorry, I'm just going to run you through them. Metcalf's only 9th on this list, so he's still got a ways to go. But all these guys are going back a bit. PJ Marsh 44%, Chad Townsend 56%, Brent Webb 60, Lance O'Hire 62. John Simon, geez, he was terrible, but he was still just under 65. Kevin Locke, surprisingly poor, just under 65. Denon Kemp, who kicked a match winner in his short stint with the Warriors, he was at 65. And Tui Lolohea and Luke Metcalf are both 66.67 goal kickers in Warriors colours. Luke actually, he was 10 from 13 coming into the season for the Warriors, and it's gone to custard. So Weezer's chimed in. This is good news for us.
Yeah, here it is.
Cleary said Panthers Origin players will rest against us after the Perth Origin. So free 2 points there. Thank you very much, Henry.
Thank you. I've fucking attaboy.
He's still got us. He's still got us in his heart, doesn't he?
Good bastard. Shit, he's a good bastard. Oh, nice. Perth Origin. Are they going to? What number is that? Is that the 3rd Origin? They're going to Perth.
Second. Next one's in Perth.
How was the Origin last week? What was that like?
Not bad. Not a bad watch, but New South Wales should have won by 30 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch it, Fonz?
Yeah, watched it. There was a bit of a gap. I thought first 15, 20 minutes, Queensland Middles held it and looked like it might be a game, but as it went on, New South Wales were just kicking better, running better shape, doing all the little things better, and got over the top in the middle. So, I haven't really watched an Origin where that early I knew who was going to win in a long time. You knew from 20 minutes who was going to win. It was not going to change. Yeah.
Speaking of kicking, did anyone see that Penrith Parramatta game? Oh, Moses and Cleary going head-to-head kicking games? Fuck, it was cool.
No, I didn't see that.
It was a ripper game, and then Cleary just turned it on, and it was a masterclass. But yeah, that was a real good watch, that game. Jesus,
Moses, great footy on the weekend, actually. That Raiders-Roosters game was superb. What a Sunday
it was. Because we were cheering the Roosters home, obviously, trying to keep Raiders at bay. But yeah, good shit.
Bob Tally, he's crowing still, crowing
after the Roosters.
The Raiders, being a Raiders fan, yeah. But yeah, Canberra keep doing it, just like we do. Keep finding ways to win. Six of our last 9 games we've won by a converted try or less. That's quite extraordinary, especially the way we were losing games last year. We had kind of collapsed and just not collapsed quite enough to lose. It's some good traits to have.
I know you love ladder chat, and I know we're getting near the end of the show here, but just out of interest, I looked at the exact time last year where we sat, and which was known as a shit year. So we had the same amount of buys round 13. This year we've got 240 points for and 243 against, and we're in second place. This time last year we had 251 for, so 11 more points, and 246, 3 more points against last year, and we're in 13th place.
So the for and against is basically the
I
same.
mean, yeah, it's exactly the same. It's pretty much exactly the same, yet these little close wins, that's the difference. So was last year better than we give it credit for? Is this year not as good as we think it is?
Well,
Yeah.
last year around this
Maybe a
time,
bit
we were
both.
saying the system's working. We just don't seem to have the strike or the clutch to get the wins. And so the system hasn't really changed. I think this year it's back to this thing, right? Like this is where it kind of footy does my head in a bit, because is it statistically significant? Like, say if you win like 6 out of 9 games by these small margins, is that because you're actually doing something, or is that because if you flip a coin 9 times, sometimes you will get 6 heads? You know what I mean? Like, and I've got to say, like on the eye test, I feel like if I look at the weekends, a little play, like that last try that won us the game in the end, or that was the difference in terms of time. I reckon last year when Lecker goes up for that bomb and gets it and throws it back, and then Chanel picks it up and it throws it out to Roger. I reckon last year something happens, like Chanel isn't sitting a meter back from that contest for the ball, waiting for that ball. Or if he is, when he gets it, he just throws it to the first man who throws a dummy and gets tackled. Whereas here, it's just all kind of we're just a little bit better connected and structured, so that when Lecker goes up, Chanel is sitting back 2 meters just in case the ball comes out. And when it comes out, he's already had a look and seen that Roger's the man unmarked on the edge. And so he should throw a cutout to Roger instead of just playing to the first man, which is what you do in a panic, right? You'd offload quickly to the first man. And so I do think there is something different this year, which is that Webby calls it connection. I just call it each person understands their role and does their role just that little bit better. Yeah. And maybe those fine margins are the difference that we're seeing.
Because that pass of Chanel's, he knew exactly his job to do before Lecker had tapped it back to him, eh? He had set up knowing, they are perfecting the system this year. Maybe last year they were good at the system, maybe perfecting it, but we're still just struggling with the flamboyant, all the try scoring, and just that pretty. Mind being a bit more pretty.
If you look at those, like it is, I don't want to say we've been lucky, but because you do lose more. You generally lose more of those close games when you pile them all up. But the way that they've won them, the Tigers game was obviously the Lecker 70-meter try. It just doesn't happen all the time. Broncos, Walsh kicks it out on the full, first player golden point, Metcalf buried from 50. But, that doesn't happen every time for you. That comeback and magic round. I think last year we get run down by the Cowboys. There was a monumental defensive effort to close them out. The Dragons game blew a 14-point lead, didn't score a try with the last 65 minutes, and then Metcalf becomes the first non-Sean Johnson player in 15 years or something to get a field goal for the Warriors. That Dolphins game was it was probably one of the more comfortable ones, and obviously the late comeback from the Dolphins. But in that game on the weekend, we probably do get run down last year. So there's just I think there's some different qualities in the team. But you probably want to be winning a few by sort of 10 and 14 if you can.
Imagine winning by double digits.
Yeah.
Forgotten what it feels like.
It is gonna, those don't. Surely that that runs out. You lose a few more. I guess they lost to Canberra by 6, but take them how you can get them.
No.
I reckon if I'm not a Warriors fan, I'm probably sitting there going, "Those buggers,
you Jenny bastard."
How the fuck are they up there?
and they'll come back to the pack. I'd be saying they'll come back to the pack is probably where I'd be. But
it is extraordinary to be. Sorry, Fonz, it is extraordinary to be at that high with a points differential of 5.
And Melbourne's behind us in 142, aren't they? Isn't that right? Are they in 4th place with 142? It's a bit of a false.
It's all about those competition points.
There. Yeah, exactly. 2 points is fucking 2 points, mate. Fucking stacking points. Fish and chip paper Sunday, mate. Fucking. No, I'll take it. Oh well. I'm starting to get hungry, kids.
It's time.
I can smell my dinner cooking away. So yeah, let's wrap it up, eh? Thanks everyone for joining us. A few good comments in there, good engagement, and I've had a good time with you boys.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Cheers, lads.
Good
Yeah,
shit.
thanks King's Container Crew, of course, TAB, Frank Podcast, everyone out there, Patreon supporters, just everyone really. And
rad.
until next time, yeah, look after yourselves and each other.
This is a Frank Podcast.